Right Honorable Speaker. One, actual public service. We were promised as part of RAPEX a 2 trillion dividends. In this year's budget, I want public service to show us, we rationalize agencies, where are the 2 trillion dividends you promised this country? Because if it's not there, then what were we doing? So, we want them to explain as a part of RAPEX. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, there's some policy government took to award contracts of over 500 billion in every city exclusively to UPDF. Now, what has happened in most districts, UPDF lacks capacity to execute those works in real time. The consequence of that is that at the end of a financial year, UPDF gets money. It's part of the 222 billion letters of credit that are lying in the Bank of Uganda unutilized. This is established by the Auditor General. A big chunk of it is money that belongs to local government that should have done real work, build schools, health centers in a given financial year, not utilized. They are on letters of credit to Bank of Uganda. And it's lies there for 2 years without utilizing it. So there is need to urge government to review for a policy that gives exclusive rights for every job in a district to UPDF, because it has no strategic depth and capacity to do the needful. The other aspect that I would love to talk about, honorable colleagues, especially you, projects. For all committees and sectors where there are projects, I make a special appeal. Please pay maximum attention. Because our discoveries in park are telling of the extent, I don't want to call it a rot, because we shall present a report here. But I urge you, for example, this project you talk about, look at the time when it was initiated and when it was signed. 5 years down the road. It's 1 minute, Right Honorable Speaker. The other, so look at projects and take keen interest in it. This problem of rationalizing, since you've made a parish a core center of service delivery, government has no option is to go for equity and fairness. You cannot have any rationale to argue otherwise. Because there is no way, I've studied some numbers in some districts, there is no way you are going to give 100 million in a parish, like somewhere in Karamoja. Sorry, I'm not quoting Karamoja for bad reason. That has got 200 homesteads. And then you go to a parish that has got 2,000 homesteads, and you give them the same amount of money. It's not only rooted in it's common sense. That defies common sense. So any minister seated there overseeing this kind of distribution is in denial. So my appeal to you is that now that you have the latest census data, let's take use of them. Let's, for once, rationalize. I am not a believer in so many districts having a secondary school, because I studied a district where there are 9 first grades, but with the 22 sub-counties. Now, who will fill a secondary school in that district? So how can you have a policy that no matter how many, every sub-county secondary school, where in the district you have 9 first grades, and you are building a school in every sub-county of the 29. It doesn't make sense. So some of the things where we are investing money really begs to be. Let me conclude, that Honorable Speaker, with the, I happen to be a chairperson of the Uganda Parliamentary Caucus, save for my being a rope. For how long will we continue to be cheated? You put a ban on creation of local governments. created of sub-counties and parishes. And when it came to distribution of PDM, we have the biggest population, we get the least amount of money. The question is, they told us that money was supposed to be for the poorest of the poor, that the people in Central Region are not the poorest of the poor. Yes, but across the region with the highest bit of wealth is Western Uganda. It has more parishes than any other district. Therefore, my appeal to you, and I'm saying this patriotically, my appeal to you, urgently come to Central Region and rationalize the creation of parishes. If you are going to make them the core center, nerve center of development, I beg, Right Honorable.
So Stephen Kagwera, what you're saying is in line with what Honorable Byanyima said. You see, the problem is simple. That service delivery is based on units of administration. Every district, a hospital. Every sub-county, a secondary school. Every parish, a primary school. Okay? So now, in the end, people clamor for services because the channel provided to get, you have a district like in Tungamo, okay? You remember even to divide a county like Rohama. So a district like in Tungamo, when you go and you see how big it is, and you find you're using the same criteria of using the road unit, the same road unit, like a district of one constituency. Okay? Then what will people of Ntungamo do? They will clamor also. They will say, divide us, give us 4 districts so that we can have 4 road units. So I think after this budgeting, maybe we should really have a honest discussion in relation to service delivery. How do we allocate service delivery? And this will even make it easier for the executive. It will make it very easy for everyone. We have data. We've done a census. We say for every population of this magnitude, okay? Every geographical area of this magnitude, a road unit. Okay? I think that will be the only solution. And it's high time we really put our heads together and we discussed it openly. Whereas service delivery in this country will remain really down. Yes.
Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I do want to appreciate the Honorable Chisembo that has commented on domestic areas that have reached an alarming level. Right Honorable Speaker, these areas have not only crippled the economy of this country, but also they have made our government institution lose credibility. And that is very pertinent. Right Honorable, if you considered UNRWA before last year, UNRWA used to have debts that used to accrue an interest of 390 million every day. So the 10 trillion has been as a result of non-payment, and that is all the interest that has accrued. Therefore, it's important that we should have, as a matter of urgency, our first call or second call should be payment of the arrears. Otherwise, we are continuing to lose lots of money because of the interest that accrues. Thank you, Right Honorable.
Take this one.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the chair and the committee members for the report. And I can say I associate myself with most of the recommendations, but I have 2 pickups, Right Honorable. One, about the national oilseed roads. Mr. Speaker, the committee made good observations, and I can see somewhere they even talked about the costs of these roads, but looking at the recommendations, they did not make any recommendation to that effect. Mr. Speaker, my constituency is a beneficiary of this project. And just for the consumption of this house, there is a road. There was already an existing road. The road was simply to be rehabilitated, 6.6 kilometers. And Mr. Speaker, the cost is going to be 800 something millions. On average, a kilometer is taking 120 millions. Mr. Speaker, the day we launched this road, I decided to abstain from food and all drinks, because I could not imagine looking at a kilometer, just a kilometer.
Why did you abstain from the simplest things? if you had so much things.
Mr. Speaker, I could not imagine 1 kilometer costing a Ugandan taxpayer 120 millions when the road was already existing. So I thought the committee should have recommended a review of these rates. I'm not an engineer, but this cannot just be taken for granted at a time when we are grappling with resources everywhere and we talk of 1 kilometer, 120 millions. This cannot be. And then also, Mr. Speaker, I would also address myself to the inadequacy of wage at both central and local governments. But let me take the example of local governments, Mr. Speaker. From the time I became Member of Parliament, 2021, senior local government positions at Chankwanzi local government, the positions are held by people in acting capacity. Reason? There is no wage. So you find chief finance officer, internal auditor, district agriculture officer, district engineer, district education officer, they are all acting for all that long. One time I was following a report, it was an address by the Minister of Public Service, and was saying somebody cannot act for more than 6 months.
Thank you, Honorable Kwize.
I've been advising that the mother district out of which the city was carved should lend the machines to the city. And most cities are doing that. As we work out their own road equipment, Right Honorable Speaker, having supplied 15 new road equipment to the newly created districts. Local revenue collection. During our visit, the one who took up the northern Uganda, was in Kole, was in Arua, and others. Yes, there are delays, but I want to confirm that the money comes. But when the money comes, the problem is the district. The cows, I went in Kole, I found a very big scandal, the money was coming back, but it was not being given out. So check your cows, the money might come late, Ministry of Finance has an explanation, but giving out should be supervised by all of us.
Switch on, Honorable Minister.
Thank you. On the roads that Honorable Bingi Patrick brought, we have moved to supervise the use mid roads. But the nature of the roads, Right Honorable Speaker, is not the ordinary one. They put in culverts, they make pavers. So the quality and the amount of maram put is not mere scattering. So you should go round, look at the bills of quantities, Honorable Bingi, and then out of that, you can come bravely and say the 120 is too much because the quality of the work is bad, and if it's bad, we reprimand them and make them repeat the work.
Have shown concern that some people remain acting forever. Some act for years, and indeed it is true. But we are supposed to have acting position for 6 months and renewable only once. So it is supposed to be 1 year, then you advertise the position. The problem is, Right Honorable Speaker, Some of these people who occupy these positions don't want to leave them. And some of them go ahead even to bribe those people who are supposed to declare their positions. And they remain acting forever. Then secondly, some of our people in local government don't want to advertise these positions. They want their children or relatives to finish school. So they keep postponing advertisements. What are we doing as Minister of Public Service? We have decided to go and do technical backstopping in local governments so that we check who has been acting. If it is a critical position, why are you not advertising the critical position? Now, at Minister of Public Service, we are not going to allow any recruitment without critical positions first. Secondly, that the Honorable Member of Parliament from Busia, she sees employees who are not born in Busia. Busia is at the border. So it is a district for everybody.
Well, Honourable Minister, sorry for the interruption, but I wanted to put how I understood her point.
Yes.
Just kind of 1 minute, okay? I want to give you an example. My district, Mitoma, especially my constituency for colleagues who have visited, is one of the hard-to-reach areas. So what situation am I getting? Teachers and some of the schools, they use it as an opportunity to get on the payroll, but immediately move out. We are stepping ground. I was in the constituency last week. You find schools, all teachers have been taken away. They just came, robbed because there were gaps. We pushed, we recruited, but people find their way, they go out. Parish chiefs. Now, you get a parish chief from a district which is 100 miles away to come and be a parish chief in a certain parish deep in my area, where that parish chief will need a house, will need a transport, maybe to go to work or what, and the money they are earning. What do you end up having? You end up having people who are looking around, looking for small deals and all that to top up on what you are getting. So, to me, what I understood as local government is some of the jobs should be taken by the locals who understand the local situation. I don't think if you have schools in my constituency and you gave them teachers from Mitoma district, they would run away from the conditions of Mitoma, because that's where they are going to be buried, that's where their home is, okay? And they work while developing their area. So I don't want us to look at it from an angle of saying the Honorable Member for Busia is saying they don't want people from other districts to work in Busia. No. Why did you decentralize recruitment? Huh? Why did you decentralize recruitment? I thought to make sure that locals in the area are given an opportunity, because one, the pay is low. Two, they are easily adapt to the conditions in the area. But now you bring people who don't even understand the language of the area. They move around looking for interpreters. Okay? So that's how I understood it, Honourable Minister. And I really appreciate if you're facing challenges in that area.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I also wanted to comment on that, because when I went to Otuke, it is the same scenario as you've elaborated, Right Honourable, that people from, they said the matoke eaters. When the matoke eaters go to Otuke, they access the payroll, they spend there like maybe 3 months, then they run away. So that proposal, that very proposal you are bringing was also brought by the people of Otuke, that at least we can get people from the neighboring districts who understand the terrain of the district, the food, and they can easily adapt to the place. So I think it should be a policy issue, and we will escalate it further to make sure our people are not facing difficult times while they serve. Then we also have to look at the issue of the hard-to-reach allowances. It was done some time back in the Ministry of Public Service, but due to shortage of funds, they have not added on more districts. But I feel we have to roll it out and review and evaluate the other hard-to-reach areas and make sure this money is provided for. The two teachers working in a whole school, I think we need now to talk to the area member of parliament. Probably we can go into details and make sure this school gets teachers. I have very few remaining. The former leaders, we should rationalize the benefits. Yes, it is still under discussion because we noticed some people got cars at Parliament. They also got other cars from Ministry of Public Service. So you find one person with the double benefits or maybe triple benefits. So we need to rationalize this, and one should benefit from the latest former employment, not getting from all the benefits, because some people are really very lucky that they have seniors in Parliament and they have served in several offices. The staffing levels in local governments, some are still below 50, it is true. Some are even at 30. We have agreed that those who have recruited at least up to 80% should first hold. Then we pick money from the budget and allocate to these ones which are still lagging, and at least pull them up to 68 or 70%, so that they can also serve their people well after recruiting human resource. I think